Guys, it's Arielle Fox and Finny as always. If you're new to my channel, please do not forget to subscribe below, and if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. So today I want to talk about a little bit about mental health and my journey with mental health. I've been wanting to create this video for a while now and I haven't had the confidence to do it. Even today, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I want to talk about my journey with mental health and what I'm doing to try and manage it now. I first struggled with my mental health when I was a teenager. I was severely bullied by people at school. I was the first person in school to develop a female figure, and I was also the first person in school to get my period. I was bullied quite aggressively for that. It was always quite different from everyone else at my school. I went to school in Wales and I had moved from England. I was one of the only English people in my school at the time, and there was a lot of racism at school and people telling me to go back to where I came from. And there was also lots of cliquiness and everyone was already in friend groups. I sort of started at the wrong time. And I just didn't get on well with school. I never really enjoyed school. I didn't really like being told what to do. That was always a problem. I love learning, but I don't like being told what to do. Obviously in school they just sort of tell you what to do. Yeah, it just sort of spiraled from then. I sort of didn't feel like I fit in. Then as I got a bit older, I started dating people outside of school who went to different schools and met a nicer crowd of people, and then that was really good and really positive. And things just kind of start to pick up. I was always quite alternative and then got bullied for that as well, which is great. I used to have quite long black hair and I used to wear a lot of black clothes and wear big goth boots. Obviously that wasn't really acceptable where I was and in the school I was in. I feel really low. I feel like there's a lot more to it than just what happened to me at school. I think I was also struggling with a lot of pain with my endometriosis. Family took me into hospital at one point. I remember it being really bad in the car when we were in town, and then they took me into hospital. And then obviously the doctors couldn't find anything wrong because you can't see endometriosis. So it was quite difficult because I think doctors and my family, without it being their fault, I'm not blaming anyone here, but it did look like I was just making these things up, and I was always tired all the time, exhausted. And then I was just seen to be this like drama queen, like I was doing it for attention and no one took me seriously, and that really didn't help. But spiraled out of control from there, to the point where I just didn't want to get out of bed, I didn't want to do anything, I didn't want to see people, I didn't want to do the things I enjoyed. I just struggled. I struggled with speaking, with concentrating. I stopped drawing. I loved drawing and I stopped drawing. And then it got to the point where I did start self-harming for a bit, but that wasn't really because I wanted attention or because I wanted to actually... It's really hard to talk about. So it's not that I wanted to get attention for it, and it's not that I wanted to actually take my life or anything, even though I felt like I did. I've always been very scared of dying, so that stopped that, luckily. But yeah, I would self-harm in places where people couldn't see, and it was all about just feeling something. I got to the point where I couldn't feel anything anymore, and it felt good to feel something. And that was the only way I could feel something. I'd also pick up my head, which has become a bit of a habit, and sometimes I still do that now. It's really hard to get out of the habit, but I just like pick at the skin of my head until it started bleeding, which is really awful, and that is something that my family didn't notice that I was doing. I didn't stop doing it. It was like an anxious sort of tick. It became a bit of a habit and I quite enjoyed doing it, which is really fucked up. It's really not nice. And I did that a lot, and then I'd mainly like cut my legs where people couldn't see, but like in really weird places, like lower on my legs, so it looked like I'd cut myself shaving. I've always been a baby with pain as well, so I'd never was myself intense, awful, dangerous pain, because I was scared and that hurts. So it was, yeah, like light scratches and such, so nothing like too serious, but I feel like the mentality behind it was really serious and really awful. looking back at it now, and obviously it's hard to tell you guys now, but I do want to get it off my chest. I feel like I've been talking to my therapist recently, and she was saying that, because I told her I wanted to do this and do some video diaries on how I'm feeling and updates on my progress, and she was also saying that it might be a good idea. She was supportive of me speaking out, because obviously I get a lot from helping other people, so if someone else watches this and recognises these things that I'm going through and is going through them themselves, then hopefully they can address it and get help before it becomes too much. Obviously I'm in my late 20s now, and I'm still only just recovering and getting the help I need, because I've let it go on for too long. So please don't do that. If you're watching this and you're younger and you've only just started feeling these things, please go see someone straight away. Do take it seriously, because you don't want it to get to the point where it just becomes your life. So I managed to get out of that rut that I was going through. I feel like I leant heavily on having to be in a relationship to make me feel good. So I couldn't really feel good without being with someone. So when I was alone, I'd feel awful. So I'd constantly be with someone, and got a bit of a bad name for that as well, which doesn't help. But that was the only way I could feel something without having to hurt myself, which I guess is a progression, but it hurt me too. And obviously when you are vulnerable and weak like that, people do take advantage. So my friends would take advantage of me, and would also say some really horrible things to me, and they would quite often pick at me a hell of a lot about my weight, and they'd say like, oh, don't give her that to hold, because if she holds that she might snap in half. And I was always, my physical appearance was always insulted. And one of my friend's mums actually said, because I quite liked getting piercings, I think that was part of the whole thing of feeling something as well, so replacing me actually hurting myself. I do like piercings and I like the way they look. Obviously I'm not trying to condone what I did, but I still am happy that I got the piercings I got today. It's not like I got them and was just doing it for the pain. I do actually want them, but I feel like the pain I got from it was pleasurable to me in a sense, because I felt something and feeling something was good. But one of my friend's mums said to me that if I shaved my head off I'd look like a man, because I'm full of piercings and the way I dress and everything, and that really upset me. And then I feel like that's stuck with me, like even now. I know it's such a tiny thing, and people have done and said so much worse things to me, but that one little comment has just stayed with me forever, and I still think about it. Much as at the time I laughed it off and didn't really care, and she wasn't very nice and she always did horrible things like that. But yeah, that's just stayed with me and I can't shake it. Older, obviously, like I said, I was attracted to being in relationships with people, but they were never the right people. I was in some relationships with some really awful people, and this is when I was abused by someone I was in a relationship with. Both physically, sexually and mentally. I also had a few other experiences with abusive men, but I'm not going to go into all of those because I'm not ready yet. I don't want to talk about it. Looking forward to now, I think because it's been so long of me not getting the help I need, that I've just got to this point now where I've developed these really weird behaviours, or coping mechanisms. I'm in the perfect place now. I've got the job I want, I've got somewhere to live, I've got a support network all around me, but for some reason I still don't feel happy. I just still feel numb to stuff, and I think this is because I will never let go. I just stay in this sort of loop where I'm something bad could happen, something bad could happen, and I can never really live in the moment. So that's where I'm at the moment, and it's really hard. Some days are easier than others, and obviously with my endometriosis it makes it harder because that affects your mood and your hormones enough as it is, and then I'm upset that I'm like that and just want to be normal, and yeah, so that doesn't help, and quite often I will have like a mental crash because of my endometriosis, just solely that. Within the past year, I've finally decided to give antidepressants a go. My GP has suggested them quite a few times and I've been too scared, because I just feel like I need that extra kick, you know, to help me feel better. So I started on citalopram. I enjoyed being on that because I didn't have any side effects, but unfortunately it didn't make me feel better. I didn't feel worse, which is great, but I didn't feel better. And because I feel like because I was kind of aware of how I feel now and I've sort of accepted the way I feel is not okay, I became quite frustrated that they weren't working and quite upset and hormonal and down, but I don't think that had anything to do with the tablets themselves. I know they can make you feel worse before they make you feel better, but it started pretty much as soon as I decided to go on the tablets, so it was before they would have had a chance to start working. So I think it was mainly just me and my head and where I was at. Then I changed to sertraline. As I read the leaflet, I was already more excited about taking that one because it helps with things like OCD, and also social anxiety, which is something I struggle with. I was really keen on the OCD thing because I have insane OCD that comes with, I think it's all part of the package with my mental health. I have to check things loads and loads before I leave the house. It's all about that. It's not so much like keeping things clean. It's checking that my straighteners are off, checking the lights are off, checking all the heaters are off, even if they haven't been turned on that day. I'll quite often leave the house and come back in and look at them again. It like eats me up if I leave the house and I haven't gone back and checked, so it's worth me going back to check even though I know it's off, because otherwise all day I'll just think someone's gonna die if I haven't gone back and checked. It's awful. I just feel like, especially if I leave my dog in that house for an hour or so where I pop out, I just think like if I don't go back and look at everything then my dog will die. It's pretty awful, and very consuming. I started on the lowest dose of sertraline and moved my way up like with the others, and now I'm on 100. When I first started it made me feel really sick. These really horrible thumping headaches like right in the front of my head here, which I've never ever had before, and it also made me more anxious. I was getting really anxious and really shaky. Overall, like my reactions to stuff that usually upset me, like straight from day one, were better, and I was feeling a little bit more positive. My head is always like 100 miles per hour and I'm always thinking about like loads of stuff. So even now when I'm trying to talk, I'm tired, my mood's not great today. So as I'm trying to talk, I'm thinking about loads of different things. I'm thinking about all the other videos I've filmed today, what I've posted on Instagram. Is anyone saying anything horrible? Is anyone saying something nice? Have I responded to everybody? What am I doing at work next week? That's all the emails I needed to answer. I'm really tired. Maybe I should have a break. Maybe I should have some food. I really would like a coffee. I really want a cigarette. That's my brain. That must have been tiring for you guys to hear, but you know, this is all about showing you guys what it's like to be me. It did help with that a little bit, which is good. I think I've been on it for about 3 months now, and I'm feeling a lot better. I know it's hard to believe today, but doing this video is really hard. It's really hard not to cry, and it's hard to make eye contact with the camera. I almost feel like I'm talking to you all and you're all watching me sat on chairs or something. It's really difficult. So I'm sorry if my eyes are all over the place. I'm usually good at making eye contact with the camera. Instantly, like I had one moment which I still remember now, which was so nice, where I sat out in the garden with my coffee and I was just aware of the world. I know this sounds a bit like hippy dippy and silly, but like I sat there and I was like, I know it's cold, I can feel the cold air on my skin, I can hear the birds, I can smell the fresh air, and I can tell that it's gonna rain soon and the sky looks darker. And I know it's a lot of things and it sounds like a lot of things that I'm thinking, but that's nothing. That's like thinking nothing, and that's the closest I've ever got in my life from what I can remember now to feeling just calm. Brain is relaxed and like I can actually pick those thoughts out properly. Back to what I was saying, I've been on them for 3 months and I had that really lovely moment. I've had a few of those since, but not quite like that one, but I'm feeling more positive. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I just wanted to say something.